This week we saw what is likely the most significant crop report of the year, the August USDA Supply and Demand Report.
As you heard here earlier in the show, it was not what market analysts expected at all. In this week's Bottom Line, TWILA's Neil Melancon shows us what we can expect now.
The Bottom Line is brought to you by the Cotton Board, strengthening the fiber of our industry.
Well, this one was a shocker, even for an August USDA report. This is the most anticipated report of the year because it's the first time the USDA really gets out in the field and looks at what's growing. Keep in mind, these are still estimates, and we won't know fully the extent of the crop until after harvest. That said, we're going to look at three important numbers for the corn and beans to give you an idea of why this report was so jolting to the markets. The first is what the USDA estimated in July. The second is what private groups estimate the crop looks like, and the third is the report's number. So for corn, USDA had the crop in July at 166.8 bushels per acre. The trade guess for this month's averages at 164.5 bushels, and the USDA currently scores it well above both numbers at 168.8, which is outside even the high end of guesses from private analysts. The same kind of thing happened for soybeans. Last month, the government had it at 46 bushels per acre even. The trade averaged 44.7, and this month's number is almost 47 bushels per acre, which is a bushel over last month and more than a bushel over the upper end of the trade guesses. In the meantime, Louisiana is going against the trend here, as the USDA is seeing our wild summer weather having an impact on the crop. For corn, it looks like we're about 13 bushels per acre down from last year's average. For beans, we dropped off 10 bushels from last year's record number, and that's an even sharper drop than corn as beans produce fewer bushels per acre. A lot of that is due to the rain earlier this year, as beans hate having wet feet, as the saying goes. The bottom line is we've had a lot of wild weather, not only here in Louisiana, but across the country. That adds a lot of uncertainty, not only to the crops, but as Greg Fox says, to the market reports like this one.
It's a head scratcher, how accurate are these numbers? Yeah, you got a lot of rain, but did they have to go back and replant anything? Did it stunt the growth of that crop?
And so, guys, one of the things is, okay, so it's a bushel or two more than last month or last year, whoop-de-doo, right? Well, what it adds up to is 150 million bushels more for beans and almost 300 million bushels for corn. So that bushel per acre adds up after a while.
And I know for us here in Louisiana, it normally benefits us to be first to harvest because we get that good basis number. Right. And talking to Greg Fox, he says this year it's kind of hurting us.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, not only the basis is lower, but our crop is delayed, so we're not getting a lot of those benefits.
All right, thanks a lot, Neil Melancon. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when AJ Sabine will continue our focus on harvest this month with an in-depth look at this year's rice harvest.
Until then, you can watch any of our stories online on our website, twilatv.org. And be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
For Kristen Oaks-White and all of us here at TWILA, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.